Okay, we're live. Like actually live. Do I need to do any announcements? I don't think that would be appropriate. I think I've done enough public announcements. For those wondering, I have made some changes. So I got feedback on the last stream. Very valuable feedback. Thank you so much, that my setup was boring. So I've moved my camera from here to here, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So now we should be getting a much better profile, much more established profile during the stream. I'll obviously be moving in various angles, so I'm not 100% sure how it's going to work out, but I have it on good faith that this is good for me. People in the voice channel, please make yourselves be heard and known so people know that you exist. Just random noises is fine.
Hey everyone.
And tell us in the comments if the audio is whack. Because I did notice last time, my voice is like down here, whereas the people in the chat, their voice was up here somewhere, so I've tried to balance it a little bit. I want to be the dominating presence on the stream. Kason says they pre-liked the video. Thank you everybody who pre-liked the video. That really helps a lot with the energy levels during the stream. We want to get those pre-likes in. Otherwise I'm not really with it. I'm not really motivated to do anything. Post likes is pointless because I'm not looking at the video anymore. So I don't know why people are bothering to do that. Kason also says, worse angle. I want to look into your eyes the whole time. Well, we could get multiple angles, I think is the way that this is going, frankly. So we could have 2 cameras set up. I need a crew for that, frankly. There was no pre-indifference button. You can, because you can mess with YouTube by liking and then disliking and then liking, disliking, because it's like eventually consistent or something. So it does actually kind of do something. If you want to go down that route, I'm not telling you either way. And you lot are free to just chime in on the audio chat. You don't have to do textual chat. For anybody who's in the textual chat but wants to be audible, you need to join our Discord, where we've got a live on-air channel for the voice chats. I think basically there's not really an agenda here, so feel free to put questions or thoughts or feelings or whatever throughout the stream. I was probably just going to go over some of the features that I've put in the last couple of days, and then we'll move on to emojis, which I think is really a point of contention right now. Everybody needs to know what's happening with the emojis. Are the emojis going to be supported long term? But we'll leave that for a bit later. I need to give people a reason to stay on the stream. I'm going to do a bit of screen share. So for stuff that changed, what has changed, we did do a Connect release. So Benthos, the core engine, pretty much stagnant and stale. We haven't done a single update for an entire week. But if you were looking at this, so when we did the announcement of the kind of separation of the repos, you may have noticed I have actually added quite a lot of cool new stuff, which is probably worth talking about now, because I haven't had a chance to really go over some of this stuff. But it's specifically around the run CLI command. So this used to be just bland, no real customization here. You essentially execute the Benthos CLI exactly as it is. Now, obviously, we wanted to have customization for Redpanda Connect so that we can add in extra bits. And I'll go over those extra bits in a minute. Give me a minute. But the stuff that might be relevant, so if you're running a custom build internally, the stuff that might interest you, so with these CLI opt functions now, you can add some cool stuff. So T-loggers may be a bit specialized, but you can essentially T the overall service logger. That's kind of cool. I'd rate that a 3 out of 10 on coolness. So it's kind of specialized. You can add in some custom behavior when the overall config has been parsed. That's going to be a bit cryptic, it's a bit advanced, a bit specialized. But essentially what that would allow you to do is kick off extra things to happen in the binary when a user has run the CLI and a config has been parsed that's like the overall service config. So at this point you would have like the logger and the HTTP server, all that stuff kind of parsed in. Func on logger init. So this is an interesting one where you can customize. So the logger has been instantiated for the overall service when somebody has run the CLI. And what you can do is get a reference to that logger and do some stuff with it. So you might want to use that for injecting your own logs into the same thing. So you maybe have some like asynchronous process running in the background, and what you want to do is you want to log, but you want it to follow the config that the user has specified for the overall config. So for example, the log level and stuff like that. Well, this allows you to do that. You can grab a reference to this logger and you can use it wherever you want. The interface is pretty standard. It's the same thing that you get with all of the plugin implementations. You can set the binary name. So this is an interesting one where you can set the binary name of the overall service. So rather than it just being Benthos by default, well, it is Benthos by default, but you can customize it. So obviously in the Redpanda Connect world, we customize it with the actual binary that you're running, and that can differ. So if you pull the binary from the build, it's Redpanda-Connect. But if you're running it within RPK, we're going to want to customize that so that when you're looking at the CLI help flags, this isn't completely finished yet, but you'll actually see the command that you're running rather than just some random name. There's also setting the default config path, so you can override the default config paths that are searched for when you run without an explicit config specified. Kason says, does Benthos already support changing the log level at runtime? I haven't found anything that says it does. We don't have that as like a mechanism, so it's going to be based on the config. If you run in streams mode, you can do stuff like set a custom logger, and then you can kind of like have an explicit log level that suits you. But what you can do, so we need a component that allows you to set the log level of child components. So you imagine a processor whose only purpose is to set the log level of child processors. And the reason why we need that is because lots of people have processors that are going to fail regularly but would normally log when they fail. And you just want to override that. So you can either skip those logs entirely, or you can like change the level so it becomes like an info rather than an error. That's on my to-do list. I'm hoping to get that done at some point in the future. If that's specific enough. If it's not specific enough, I guess I could narrow it down to in my lifetime. But we'll see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see. Exciting. Put that on your list for Christmas to send to Santa, and we'll see what we can do. If enough people keep opening issues for it and talk about it in the chat, then I'm sure I'll get around to it. There's also setting the documentation URL. So in the CLI, whatever's the help text, whatever you want to call it, we do call out to a documentation site that obviously used to be benthos.dev. Now we point to Redpanda Connect's docs. And if you customize this, you can customize where that goes to. So if you've got an internal build of Redpanda Benthos where you're putting in your own custom plugins, and you've sort of maintained that as part of a team inside a wider organization, you might want to point the users, your internal users, to your own personal doc site, maybe just like a Confluent page, I don't know. And the idea is that you can just essentially skip the whole question of them going to the public docs, not seeing your custom plugins. You can just send them straight to it. Set main schema from, this is a bit advanced, but what this allows you to do is customize the overall config schema. You can actually dig into the connect main.go file if you're interested in how that works, but essentially what you can do is you can expand the root config to include more stuff, which some people might find useful. I'm going to politely request people don't go crazy with that, because you can add just loads of bloat to the config spec, which is kind of confusing for people. But it's there if you want to use it. We're obviously using this for the top level Redpanda namespace where you can do the sending logs to a topic, which I'll talk about in a second. And then you can do stuff like set the overall product name. Obviously, there's a difference between Redpanda Connect, the product name, and the Redpanda-Connect binary name. I don't think anybody's particularly interested in that. There's this new run command. You can actually disable that if you want to. And you can set the version. So this has been asked for a bunch of times, but you can essentially set the specific version that gets printed when you do your version dash. So you no longer have to do that weird hack where you're overriding variable names. If you've got somewhere that makes sense for you, that you can access a version number for your build, then you can use that now explicitly rather than doing weird stuff. We're generally anti-weird stuff, but you can obviously still do the weird stuff. The old weird stuff that you were doing is still going to build and work. Just don't tell me about it, please. In the Connect repo, so we actually did a release. Just one release, or did we do 2 releases? Just one release. So there's some cool stuff here. So obviously we have more time, we have more resources as part of this acquisition. So in doing so, hopefully I'm going to get more time to do pull requests. We're going to have more people doing pull requests, but also we can spend a bit more time whilst doing the pull requests. So we obviously maintain this overall change log, and this is a manual effort. We're not just pulling commit names and just kind of like slapping those together. We do this by hand. We hand curate these change logs so that it's nice and readable for people. And what we're also doing is we're putting @mentions for everybody who contributes. So this is something that GitHub added a while ago, where in each release you can actually list the contributors. So we've got Stefan, we've got Martin, who is on the chat. Shout out, Martin. And we've got Max. And this is really cool, but before, I didn't have time for this. When I'm putting the changelog together, I'm choosing not to spend time with my kid. So I'm going to do as quick a job as I can. I'm not going to manually go through GitHub and find people's @usernames and things just to sort these in. I'm like, I was living on the edge, and now that's not the case. So we can put in all these cool little @mentions just to give people a bit of a tip of the hat to contributors. But the stuff that's been added, so we've done there's some fixes and things that have come into here, and a couple new fields. But the thing that is probably going to interest people since the last stream is, so traditionally, when you're importing, whoa, what's happening here? Traditionally, when you're importing different plugin implementations, so if you've got a custom build with a subset of the plugins that you're building, you would go to the public components section, and what you'd do is you'd import whichever of these you actually want. So for example, if you just want the Kafka or the Nats or the Redis plugins, you could just make those explicit imports. But if you just want everything, you would go for all, and all just pulls in everything that's been defined inside the package. When we made license changes, we've made it so that some of the plugins too are enterprise license. So if you're going to run those, then there's something you have to do, as in you need to be a paid user, I guess. And the rest are all Apache 2. So there's a massive set of open source Apache 2 licensed plugins, but from the perspective of somebody importing all of these components, you have no idea what you're doing. So obviously I 100% agree, that's a big frustration. So what we've done is I've added a new bundle section, and just to unblock people for now, there'll be more stuff to come on trying to make the licensing more clear and explicit. But for now, if you import one of these 2 bundles, it's essentially the equivalent of component/all, except we've split it. So there's free now, and that's only importing Apache 2 licensed plugins. So if you're importing free, you are only relying on Apache 2 stuff. And then there's Enterprise, which is a superset of the free stuff plus all the Enterprise stuff. So Enterprise is obviously the build that we're going to be using to build Redpanda Connect. But if you're building a custom binary, you can choose to just do free. And to help people with that, I've also updated the Benthos plugin example. So this is going to be renamed Connect plugin example, but it's essentially the same thing. It's a main.go file where you can define plugins, import your own custom plugins. So these are examples of custom plugins that we've defined inside this repo. And then what we've done is we've imported all of the FOSS plugins from the Connect repo. So these are all the plugins that we're going to continue to maintain. And obviously we're referencing the MIT licensed Benthos core engine for actually defining the plugins and for running the CLI. So here is where you would inject all those CLI customizations that I was talking about if you wanted them, but you don't need those necessarily. There's probably some stuff that I still need to do on this. I need to rename the module, and then we're probably going to move this over to the Redpanda data organization, but it'll all essentially be the same thing. If you want to use this to make a build, what you're essentially doing is cloning this, renaming the module. So when you go.mod, rename the module, and then rename the module inside your custom imports if you've got custom plugins. If you don't have custom plugins, you can just delete all of these custom plugin directories and not import them in your main.go. And then this shows you how to create the build, which is obviously simple because it's Go. And then there's also your Docker file. So you can create a Docker image from this directly, and it will just run exactly as Benthos has always run, because it's basically the same thing. Is there anything else for now that I need to go through? Oh, I can talk about the new stuff that we've added. So people have been asking, like, what is this new Redpanda logger thing, this weird enterprise feature? I think I can show you what that looks like at the high level. Okay, we still need to update the docs for this. I'm not sure what we put. Oh, okay, here we go. So we've got this new section called Redpanda. And this is obviously specific to Redpanda Connect. So if you build a custom build, this isn't going to be in there, so you can just ignore it if you're not interested. But it's pretty cool. So what this allows you to do is specify Redpanda brokers. And then what you can do is you can specify a logs topic and logs level. And this will forward your Redpanda Connect logs to that topic in their entirety, obviously following the desired log level. So anything that log level and above will get forwarded to that topic. And that's in combination with the normal logs. So you still get logs to stand it out. So you can still use that for debugging in other ways. It's all still there unless you want to disable it. And you can actually customize the log level independently on the two. So you can disable the normal logs and just have Redpanda logs, or you can disable Redpanda logs. If you just don't configure it, it's disabled by default. But then this is just another option. So it means that you've got all those logs forwarded to a topic if you want to put other tooling on that. And I think that's basically everything I was going to cover. There's obviously stuff that is still to do that are immediate, needs to get done ASAP things. There were quite a lot of sort of chicken egg puzzles when we made the split in the repos, and I only have so much time. So one of them is we need to get the Lambda builds back in, because they've been taken out temporarily for the sake of making my life a bit easier in the beginning. But obviously we need to put those back in, so when we cut releases they'll be back. There isn't a new install script, so if you go into resources scripts, there is actually a new install script just like before, where you can install Redpanda Connect with curl, and it will work the exact same as Benthos used to, all the same CLI args and all that stuff. Obviously, to get out the gate immediately, we distribute everything with RPK. That's going to continue just so you can get everything in one place, one tool. But that doesn't stop us from having independent builds of just Redpanda Connect if that's all you want. We're actually already publishing these artifacts. So if you go to the releases, you can see all these artifacts here, same as we used to do. But I just need to add the Lambda distributions in there as well. There's also docs changes. So right now, docs changes are going to kind of have to be manually moved out, because it used to be that because we had this monolithic repo where everything was all there, we had all the connectors, all the plugins, and the docs generation was all done inside that repo. It meant that we could dig into the internals for generating the docs, and the template that we were using for generating the docs sits way deep inside the core engine, which is kind of silly, because it means that the engine can only really generate docs for one type of doc site, which is kind of short-sighted. Obviously, it made my life easier back in the past, but it's not really necessary anymore. So what is going to happen instead is there's going to be public APIs on the service package, the public service package, for generating docs based on your own custom templates. And that's going to allow us to generate the docs for Redpanda Connect, but obviously for your custom builds that you've got internally, if you've got a mix and match of plugins that you're running with, it's going to allow you, for the first time ever, to have your own custom docs pages generated in whatever format you want. So it could be Markdown, could be something else. I don't know. It's up to you. Go crazy with it. I don't know. Generate SVGs. I don't know. What else is there? Anybody got anything else they want me to talk about yet in the chat? Kason says, what I meant was from an HTTP endpoint to change the global log level, but I see that's much more complicated. On a technical level, we could potentially make that dynamic. The way it works technically is there's this like manager component which basically holds all of the kind of like global resources. So that includes the logger, the metrics aggregator, the HTTP endpoint like server thing. So there's no reason why we couldn't hook an endpoint in that does customizations like that where you can change the log level at runtime. It's just not done, frankly. That's it. We just haven't done it. But that actually wouldn't be a huge endeavor to add. The only questions would be how would we expose that? Because you might not want to leave that out by default because it's kind of a vulnerability. People can suddenly spam you with logs just by hitting an endpoint. But we could add customized endpoints in there specifically for that purpose. It is actually the kind of thing that you could do with, you could do that with the CLI options I've given you, because you can actually customize the logger, or you could set a T-logger and disable the logs by default and use your T-logger to actually do all the logging, in which case you've got all the control over the log level and stuff like that, so you could make it dynamic. Can you set something like slog to act as the logger? Yes, no. You can. We've got an API for that in the Stream Builder. So if you use the Stream Builder API, you can set a slog logger as the overall logger. So it's here, set logger. And if you're not familiar with the Stream Builder, it's a programmatic API where you can build and run Redpanda Connect /Benthos configs in memory, in process, and then you can manage the lifetimes yourself. So you could basically rebuild the CLI in your own way using the Stream Builder, but obviously it means you've got to go and do all that stuff. We could, in theory, add a. Let's have a look. We could, in theory, add a customization function here to do that, to sort of swap out the overall logger with a slogger. I think. Might need a bit of thought. Maybe open an issue, but I can't think off the top of my head a big reason why we couldn't do that. You Discord lot, you're all very quiet. I'm going to do dead air until somebody says something.
It's purely about because of respect for you, man.
It's my beautiful voice. Deafens
I'm sorry,
people.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay. All right, as long as I know you're there. I hope you've all liked the video here.
Begrudgingly.
Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do emojis. We're going to do some emojis.
That's what I was
Okay,
about
now
to
I'm listening.
propose. Do some blowfish.
Yep, I'll do some blobfish emojis. I might try and do a crossover of Redpanda. I don't know where to get their, because they've obviously got emojis in some sort of like press kit or something. It would be good to do a bit of a crossover, but I don't know if I'm going to get that done today. What my priority right now is to get mats in some sort of distribution of all the emojis. So if you're not aware, I've done this on stream in the past. There is a sort of dump of all the emojis in one SVG, which I maintain. I don't think this is actually shared anywhere. So if I die, these emojis die with me, or at least the SVG copy. And then what I do is I use this to create the PNGs that you know and love in your respective Slack and Discord communities. First priority is I'm going to go find Matt's PR. And Matt is on the Discord, ready to justify any design decisions that have been made. Add stupid emojis. Hello. Once merged, these emojis are canon. Choose wisely. And let's have a look here. So, we've got questions. This is way more important. Will you expand the logger support to support a logger interface that any logger packages could be passed it as long as they conform to the interface? I see the logger type is just a struct now. So there's two different directions. There's getting your logger in, so the internal components are using that logger to log their logs. And then the other one is getting a reference to that logger out into your own code base. Getting your interface in is what we currently have for the Stream Builder API, which I think we can also do for the CLI. I just need to think about where in the life cycle we need to do that. We need to do it before anything's been initialized, essentially. So I might need to do like a whole new thing. Getting it out is different because getting a logger out means I'm giving you a public API for that logger. If I give you an interface, I can no longer expand the interface. So it's the same reason why the AWS APIs, for example, when they cut v2, they actually removed all the interfaces that they were previously maintaining. And the reason is because if you're trying to adhere to semantic versioning, you need to respect major version numbers and backwards compatibility and all that stuff. If you exposed an interface, you can no longer add anything to it because that would break backwards compatibility, because something could be implementing that interface and that would break if you add something. So people don't like exporting interfaces unless it's an interface that's coming in. Whereas stuff coming out, what I do in all of the public APIs is I try and always make sure that's a struct, because then I can expand it arbitrarily. But what you can do is you can define an interface that just matches the current API, and then you can pass that around. But when you get something out of the Benthos APIs, it's always going to be some sort of like struct. Mihai says, guess you can embed a private interface. That's one way of doing it. But then people get mad because they can't implement the actual thing. Okay, so let's look at this disaster. Disaster of emojis. We've got the... Matt, do you have SVGs for any of these?
I don't. The first blob tubby was pulled off of one of your YouTube videos, actually. And then to make the ones that are used all the time in the Discord, the trisected ones, all I did was expand the X value by 3.
I can see how that's happened. I can see what you've done here. What about the black hole one?
That one is actually not mine. I don't remember who made that.
Can you find out? That's your job right now, is you need to find out. Have you plagiarized someone's emoji? Are you an emoji plagiarizer?
That's Marco.
As I remember from the lore, you blocked its acceptance into the Discord. But we overruled that. So.
Okay, I vaguely remember that. Was it Marco? Can somebody go find out if it was Marco? Because you might have an SVG for it.
Checking now.
Otherwise, no, I can roughly reproduce.
It's the channel
this.
that has since been deleted.
Yes.
Oh, for God's sake!
Yeah.
My fault. I only have myself to blame. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the PNG in, and then I'm going to try and replicate as accurately as I can, because we need SVG, Matt. I don't know what you're on. I don't know what kind of operation you think this is, but we're a professional shop here. and we deal in SVGs. So the blob mad one, that's basically just an expansion of blob mad. Oh, I did realize as well the other day, there are some emojis that I obviously messed up, and I've lost them. As in, I've lost the SVG. Oh heck. What am I doing? I've lost the SVG. So it doesn't exist anymore.
That's not very professional of you.
It's not very professional. Oh, hang on, I'm a complete fool.
I feel a blobfish facepalm coming along.
Here we go, look at this. That's pretty
Maybe
good.
we should also start creating like official blob memes.
Official sanctioned blob memes. I feel like memes have to be a community endeavor. They cannot be an official corporate endeavor.
Well, if you keep deleting stuff, then I would argue.
I haven't deleted the memes channel
No, true.
Yet.
yet. Depends if people start making memes of me. I'm gonna. Okay, so here's a question, right, for the channel, I guess, for the chat. Are we in a world where we want these emojis to err on the side of polish, where things make sense? Or do you want to err on the side of it looks like somebody just slapped this together in a hurry and it looks bad? I would say I've traditionally towed the line. So it's somewhere in between where it's not really clear if this is just a joke, a sick, disgusting joke that some kid has made up in their basement and everybody believes this ironic project is real. Or maybe it's a real graphic designer who actually has respected an industry, has tried to put these things together, maybe with a weird brief. But yeah, I'd be interested to know if people expect these shadows, for example, to be adjusted so that it looks a little bit more sensical rather than just it's been completely stretched out. But I'm actually kind of liking this vibe here. I think this is actually kind of good. Because what we could do is, this is like the purpose of this is to, this emoji here is to expand the emoji so it fits 3 emoji characters widths in the Discord, which is important because you really want to emphasize the size of the thing. But obviously Matt, being not fully with it, has just stretched it in a very, very simple way so that it's not fully utilizing the height of the thing. So the proportions are all wank. So I don't know.
Yeah, but it's pixel perfect. If I used it in Discord right now, it would work.
It's wonky and I don't like it, which is why it's not an official emoji up until now. But, you know, maybe it's something a little bit more like this. I don't know. How do we feel? Sorry, I'm probably not going to pronounce this correctly. Fabricio? Is that it? Says, hi, what's the best way to check the updated column of a database from MySQL Server A and use that data to fetch from another table from MySQL Server B? I'm new on the Benthos world. So, not that I don't think emojis are the higher priority right now, but what you'll probably want is bloblang. So what you'll do is you'll obtain a piece of data from SQL. That's going to be in a structured form inside Redpanda Connect. I feel like somebody needs to actually do the tally of when I say Benthos versus Redpanda Connect, and we'll have a little review at the end of each stream. But you will want to go and hang out in the bloblang section, because what you can do is you can reference the fields Just using dot paths really. But if it's timestamp, you might need to do some weird timestamp manipulation, which we do have a section for here somewhere. This is probably something we could improve as well, because finding these sections is a bit awkward. Ideally, we want like another drop down or something. But yeah, you've got stuff like formatting, timestamps, TS format, and TS pars, and all these things. So it's worth checking out these and getting familiar with them. And then on the query side, so if you're using the processor, for example, the SQL processor, you'll probably want, oh no, this one's deprecated. You want the SQL select processor, and inside the where, you'll want to do something like meow equals or greater than or equals whatever, and then the placeholder for your particular query language. And then in the args mapping, so this is actual bloblang that gets executed here, but what you're supposed to do here is create an array of the arguments inside your select statement. So if you've got a query that says where, updated at is greater than or equal to blah, you'll make an array, and the element that you're referencing inside the array is going to be the updated at column in that thing. So getting the two to join together like timestamps are the worst in all of these things, because they all have different requirements for what format the timestamp needs. But in bloblang, you can format it to whatever you want based on what the driver requires of you. But yeah, as Mihai says, if you jump into our Discord or the various Slack support channels, somebody will help you out. Mahmood says, is there a way to override the error logging for streams mode with some kind of mapping to completely customize the error messages at runtime? That kind of ties into the possible future customizations we were talking about earlier. Ideally, all of that will be sorted out at the same time, but essentially we need customizations so that you can be specific about what logging levels you're going to allow as you dig into a config. So which sections of a config explicitly you're going to disable logs for example. But then if you want like a generic way that is for the whole thing, kind of like the mapping that we can do for metrics right now, the ability to just restructure logs as they come through dynamically, that's probably going to be a separate feature that we need to add. It's all in the realm of possibility, it's just whether or not we've actually gone and done it. Sorry for my waffly vague answer there. What do we think? Do we want to have good proportions or not, people? Dead silence. I forgive Matt for being quiet because it's kind of your art that's on display here, so I can understand.
I just bastardized an official emoji, so.
All right, well, I'll tell you what. I'm quite happy with that. It'll be much neater. Is that one you just posted in the Discord? That's still broken into 3, isn't it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'm basically going to have the same thing if I run with this, so I'm quite happy with that. Now the other one we need is blob tubby. So we need a blob tubby emoji, but then we also need a blob tubby stretched. Oof, that's a big ask.
Depending on how you got the one in your previous YouTube video, you might already have that somewhere.
I'll need to have a look. There'll be an SVG somewhere from the olden days, because that is an old picture you fished out there. That's from the archives. So maybe, hold on, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I'm going to have to go dig through. So what I'm about to do is dig through my folder of SVG pictures that I've put together for various projects, and frankly, I don't want to share them all. So I'm going to hide my screen, and I'm going to look very sweaty and tense whilst I go through my little bucket of pictures.
All your forgotten children.
Blobfish, all my forgotten babies. Blobfish eats junk.svg. That's
That sounds about
definitely a strong candidate. Yeah, here we go. I've got it. Yep, this is the one. Oh, Jesus, big. Oh dear. Oh Lord. What about a Redpanda / blob merge? That's definitely on the table. I will probably have a little go at that. We've got teams of people who have real jobs where what they do is important and of consequence. So if I can steal some of their time to help me out, then I may do so. Otherwise, I'll probably put various attempts together to do something like that. Oh, hang on. Just give me a minute. Back to the screen share. Can people in Discord, can you see my... You can't see my screen, can you? Oh, that's annoying.
We can't. We have to follow on the YouTube, which has a delay, which is makes it very interesting.
Yeah, how delayed is it?
I think like 6 seconds or something. 6 to 10 seconds.
Oh, that's not that bad. Stop whinging about that. 6 seconds.
But you're explaining something, and then
6 seconds. Oh, I can't deal with it. Oh.
Says the guy who's maintaining like a real-time platform. Like,
I never guaranteed latency is lower than 6 seconds. I don't think there's any claims of that on the Benthos docs anywhere. 6 seconds? You're getting 6 second latencies? Whoa.
It's not 6.
Yo.
Like seriously, I look at the live stream right now on YouTube, and I see you like doing the crying stuff just now.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to do anything to assist the people in the Discord channel at this time. How do I move this just down to the bottom? What have they done? They've changed this. Inkscape has changed this. If you're just joining on the stream and you thought this was going to be about stream processing engines, I'm really sorry. But I'm not changing. So, oh, this is not what I want. Where's just I just want to move it down to the thing. Oh, okay. Too many clicks. This requires an unacceptable number of clicks. So what I'm going to do in the normal world, when I'm making like emojis and stuff, generally it's a fairly simple formula where you give it a black outline, and you expand most of the details, and then that's it. Because all you want for an emoji is it needs to look more or less the same, but it needs to be clearer when it's obviously in a smaller form factor. So in my experience, this very, very simple way of doing things tends to be the best way forward. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Oh yeah, Christina's seen, there's definitely some, so there's some AI generated content, which is pretty good. Some mixtures of blobfish and red pandas, but she's seen the one that, I think it was Marco again. Marco comes out with some bangers, some fantastic memes and logo crossovers. But I think it was him that made the, it's a red panda with the blobfish face, which I think is sufficiently horrifying. Okay, so I'm not going to copy the blob mad face. I'm just going to copy the standard blobfish face. But essentially what we want is we want this face on this big old chubby body. This chunky boy. Oh, no, we definitely need the double chin. We don't want to get rid of the double chin. There we go. So you want the face to be as big as possible, because that's the main thing of the emoji, right? It's the face. So the struggle we've got here with the blob tubby, the chunky boy, is that most of the real estate of this emoji is in the tubby. So these all need to be more defined. Nope. Okay, so these are strokes, which is good. Stroke style, chunkify. Chunkify. Oh, actually, we could probably keep that the old color. What do we think? Chat, Discord, give me feedback, please.
Dude, I'm still waiting for the lag, so just wait for a few minutes and then I'll comment if it's good or
Oh
bad.
my god, it's so sad. Just some guy making emojis on his own.
Face is too
in
big.
silence.
It's not as tubby anymore.
I hate that
Yeah.
you're right.
As
Yeah.
it sits now, it's only blob cherub, not blob tubby.
Yeah, it is. It's blob cherub. Oh my god, that'd be such a good emoji. Stick some wings on it. Oh, Matt. That'll be a banger. Okay, hang on. I'm going to focus on this first. I'm 100% doing a blob cherub tonight. That is
Or it could be like
happening.
blob cupid. You could give him a little bow and arrow,
Too much effort.
little halo.
I'll leave that to you if you wanna finish the vision.
Nah, I've already done too much work on it.
So by default, we need to fit this box. So it needs to be in this kind of space here. So if we're going to make this one the cherub, for example, wings have enough space here, I'd say, to be present and prominent. So I think that's probably about the size we're going to go for. So that's our blob cherub. And then what we'll do is we'll have a separate blob tubby. It's going to be even bigger. Martin wants it to be canon. I really feel like we need to get more of the Redpanda marketing team here, because I don't think it's my call and I don't think it's Christina's call. What a official canonical Redpandas is. Maybe we can get Alex on the call and he can just override everybody. Say yes, this is it. We'll make the most horrible, most obscene Redpanda blobfish crossover, and then we'll use social pressure to force him to sign off on it. What do you think, Matt?
On the right track, I think.
Okay, we've got kind of sign off from Matt. I think I'm gonna take that because can't really see us doing much of a.
You do something with blobs and bacon.
Pops and bacon. I think that's probably. Yeah, okay. Because it's not. So right now, this isn't distinct enough from the blob cherub, but the blob cherub will soon be expanded. So in the cinematic universe, they're not really gonna step on each other's toes, I don't think. So yeah, I think that's good. And then we duplicate that, and now we need to make the expanded version. Boom. What do we think? I think this is a mistake. I think what I should be doing here, so for the expanded blob tubby, for those on the voice chat and can't see yet, I'm doing the expanded 3-column version of it. Now, it works when you're looking at Blob Mad to just stretch it out, because what you're stretching out is the frown and the anger. But I really feel like with Blob Tubby, what we want to do in the 3-block expansion version is only expand the belly and not the face. So it'd be something like, let's put this back to, what was it? It would be about 20. Yeah. Okay, I think I've got it. Oh, this is gonna be great. This might be one of the best emojis yet. Matt, I think this is going to be a banger. Going to do non-stretched hands. Just tidy it up a little bit. I'm going to make the belly button, actually the belly button stretch is probably fine. That probably works quite well. I'll need to fix the black background, and then we're going to copy paste the arms. Almost feels a little bit like the belly lines are a little bit too big now. Maybe these need to be a bit smaller in definition. And then what have we got? What do we end up with? I think this is good content. Yep.
I'm giggling.
Here we go.
3 out of 4 blobfish approve in that zoomed in view you just had.
Wait, say that again?
Oh, the view that you had, 3 out of the 4 blobfish to the right were approving. There's only 1 thumbs down.
Okay. Unrelated, does anyone know if the Benthos container can be built using distroless instead of BusyBox? Is there any technical reason BusyBox is required? I don't think so. I think you can probably do it with anything. Anything that's yeah, I think anything. Give it a try. So because it's just a Go static binary, you should be absolutely fine. The things that we get tripped up on the operating system is TLS certificate, the root certificates getting pulled in from. If you look at the Docker file in the repo, you'll see where we copy those in. I don't really know much about distroless, but I assume those are things that you'll need to bring in. And the reason for that is otherwise TLS is a bit broken. And other than that, you're good to go. There's like CGO Dockerfile equivalents, and that needs more because we have to have a bunch of C binaries to link to, so it gets a bit more involved. But if you're just doing the normal distribution, then yeah, I would say, I'm not going to guarantee it, but it'll definitely 100% work. If it doesn't, come find me in real life with a wooden paddleboard, and I'll let you punish me. There's been a few incidences where that's come into play. Again, I think this is good. This is ready to be sanctioned. Matt, give me any thoughts when you're ready. Don't clip that, don't clip that, don't clip that. These are clip-free streams. We don't do clipping here. Okay, so I'm going to do the black hole. We want to know, is it Marco who put this together? If so, has anybody gotten hold of Marco yet? His MIA.
I think it's his dinner time.
The new emojis are beautiful, by the way. I was avoiding the
Not
clip.
on stream. Okay, we got Matt's approval. Matt's official sign off. Okay, and people's thoughts on where we're going to host these. So this is just going to be PNGs. We're going to stick them somewhere. We used to have it on the doc site. I think we could maybe still do that if I go and talk to the doc site people, but I also don't want to force them to maintain this. I was thinking they're just images. We can just dump them somewhere else. It doesn't have to be on a doc site. We could. Can we just host? Can we put them just on Discord as like a downloadable thing? Because I don't see why, right? We could just pin a comment that's got the download in it, right?
Why not just put them in as part of the repo?
Oh, we could put it in the repo. There's branch protections now, so I would have to raise a pull request and have somebody merge my emojis.
I want to see the comments on that review.
This one's too fat. It's unrealistic. This one's not on brand. Mihai can merge, so I'll get Mihai to do it. Okay, here we go. Eduardo is trying to reach Marco. Tell him it's an emergency. Marco! Oh my god, it's all broken! Marco, please! Basically, what we want to know is, does he have an SVG ready? Or is Ash going to have to trace this? I think what I'll probably do is I'm going to stick in, because we've got an artwork channel on the Redpanda Discord, where you are free to post your own artwork, your own art pieces, even if it's not necessarily relevant to the project, even if it's not relevant to reality. You can still come in and drop your artwork, and people may judge it, or they might just quietly enjoy it. And what I might do is I might just put a bundle of the emojis together and we'll just stick it in there. Although, no, because we want it to be somewhere that we can link people, right? So somebody comes along and says, hey, we need emojis. We can just link them to somewhere. I don't think it's a problem to just host them on a personal website. So I might just stick them on mine for now. And they can be decentralized as well if people want to put them on their own various websites. Okay, right, so I'm gonna try and trace this one. Or should we wait for Marco and I'll finish the cherub? Let's do that. Finish the cherub. So what we need here are angel wings. Nope, that is not the tool that I wanted. Angel wings. It's been a while since I used Inkscape last, so you have to bear with me a bit here. I'm a bit rusty with these tools. Here we go. And angel wings are typically kind of rounded, I believe. But not like that. Not like that. Oh no. Something like that? I'm asking you a question.
Are we making a vampire?
Don't worry about color yet, we're just focusing on shape. I think that's fine. Angel wing?
Yeah.
Or does it look like a fairy? Well, I suppose with a cherub, it's kind of the same thing, I guess.
Man, you've been playing too much Diablo lately.
Let's do... Where is Align? Where's the Align thing? Align industry, there we go. Oh my god. Oh, this is painful. And I normally squish one side just to give you kind of like this false sense of perspective. And then we want to send this to the back. Same as this one. Nope. Not the layer. And these will be... Okay, oh no, I moved it. Didn't want to do that. So we need to give these an outline, otherwise they're not going to be prominent. Do the same with this one. Why is it not? Oh, okay, what is it doing? I'm going to need to fix these a little bit. We need to kind of clear these up. Oh, that looks beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful cherub. Oh, oh, look at this cherub. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh. Save me. Save me, cherub.
What if the wings were golden?
Oh. Oh.
It might not work, but I'm curious.
Well, we could try it. We'll give it a go. Hold on, I'm just trying to fix this. We want to layer this. Oh my god, what is the... This is lying to me. This says the button for lower to bottom. What's the actual button I need to do? No, not that. No, not that. Oh, God. I don't know what the key binding is to do lower, lower, lower. So I'm going to have to keep clicking through. Oh, this is painful. This is going to lose us viewers. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, it's because all the... I'm an idiot. There, that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Can you imagine like joining a stream and unironically watching somebody clumsily make emojis? Like what kind of mental state
all of
you
us
need to
right
be
now.
in? Just like imagine what kind of state of mind you'd have to be in. Do we expect this shadow, this background to be above? Because sometimes I do that. So it would look like... No! Ugh, that's not what I wanted. Like, this has got to go up? What? What? Oh my, what happened there? So like that, where the wing is clearly like behind, whereas here it's kind of on the thing. No, I need to full send. We're gonna full send. Full send. There we go. Okay, this is it. Just a question of, are we gonna do gold wings or are we gonna do white wings? So kind of golden. Gold is gonna look, when it's emoji size, it's gonna look maybe a bit weird. Whereas I think white is obvious, it's like an angel thing. We'll do a side-by-side comparison. No! Okay, whatever. Do side-by-side comparison.
That gold color looks like he's hiding two ice creams behind his back. So.
Oh, you're right. It just looks like a fat blob that's eating ice creams. Oh no.
Some like lines to simulate the feathers of the wings, maybe?
Maybe slightly bluish.
Bluish. Let's try it. What was your suggestion, Matt?
Some lines to simulate the feathers in the wings.
Oh, come on. Matt wants us to be here all night.
Obviously.
I want to go to bed. You want to just sit here drawing lines on wings all evening?
Yeah.
What?
Sounds like a perfect date.
Like and subscribe to this stream. There's a lot of effort I'm having to put in, and it's really going to kill me if there's like 2 thumbs up for this video and 3 thumbs down. That's really going to kill my buzz. What do you want? Like that? What do you want, Matt? Why didn't that work? Do we not have a straight? Oh, okay, that's me. That's me.
You said that, and I still don't see any lines, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Hang on. I'm still working on it. Hang on.
You have to wait the requisite 12 seconds for the stream to catch up.
Okay. I'm doing a test run of these lines of yours. Okay. Yep, I see it. You were right. I see it.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good.
I see that I was wrong. And I guess that's why you're here. So
I mean, we don't have to assign blame or anything.
This is a disaster. I don't see how. Oh my god! I don't see how we can move on without a root cause analysis. How did Ash get it so wrong? Okay, I need to sharpen these. See, this is a bit of trickery going on. SVG. If you're a graphic designer and you're looking for some tricks, this is one of my tricks. Where if you've got like a background thing, but you want to like add a line to it that kind of goes over another thing, what I do is I zoom right in. This is how I do it. I zoom right in and I just give it a bit of a oh, and really try and smoothen that out. And then what I end up with is, who's going to tell? No one. It looks
Kinda looks like
Seamless.
folded bed sheets.
It looks like what?
Folded bed sheets.
When it's small, do you still think that?
I don't know, I have to wait for the YouTube to catch up when you zoom out.
Okay, you give me. I've just zoomed out. You'll get like 5 seconds to make your judgment call. But I'm ready to be done with this. Frankly, I hate this. I started off loving this emoji, but this has just become. This has really just become a drag on my life, and I'm ready to move on. I'm ready to wash my hands of this cherub. I think it looks okay. I think it looks pretty good. I think if posted in the Discord, there might be a couple, like if we just post that in context, I don't know what the context would be for this emoji. I don't know what would have to have been said in some actual conversation in real life for this to be a relevant emoji. But assuming that's happened, we post this emoji, I think it's gonna stand on its own merits. I think people are they might need a little bit of guidance. Oh, that's a cherub, by the way, from somebody. But it's still, I think it's worth having there in the repertoire of blobfish emojis. I'm too lazy to do 2 of this wing, so I'm actually just going to copy paste this one. I don't have enough time for this. I'll expand it a little bit. That's for the perspective. So yeah, if I just do the down arrow, which it looks like it's telling me to do here in the UI, just down arrow, it doesn't do anything. It just moves it. That's not what I want. That's not what I want at all. What if I do function? Is that page down? No. I'm going to need page down, and I don't have that on my keyboard right now, so... I just couldn't cut it as a graphic designer. He couldn't pass the interview phase. They looked at his keyboard. Where's your page down? Page down key? Oh, no.
It's like that time when you go to an interview and they give you a Windows laptop, right?
Sweat rolling, sweat beating down your face. Yes, I can do this.
Thank you for...
Show me how you copy paste. It's okay. No! Kaysen, if you ask for help for us on the textual channel, then the only people who could possibly respond to that also are in the group of people who need help. You need to post that cry for help somewhere else. I don't know where that's going to be. Maybe you've got a family WhatsApp group and you can post it to them. Or maybe you've got a professional Slack channel with your work, your place of work, and you can ask them for help. Help! We're on YouTube. We don't. The emoji's gone awry. He doesn't know how to use Inkscape. Mum. He's making cherubs and he doesn't know how to use Inkscape. But that's the one like the YouTube chat is the one place we can't get help. That made me a bit angry because I feel like you're asking me for help and I'm in the thick of it. I'm on the front lines of this situation. There's no one here who's can't use Inkscape as much as I am. I am the most can't use Inkscape here. All right, this is fine. This is good. Nobody complain. Nobody talk bad about my cherub. I think that's gonna be the one. That's gonna be the one. And we just need to do Marco's. We need to do an SVG version of Marco's black hole. We also need to decide. So I'm not sure that the colors work, because we kind of lose important details here. Also, it's not physically accurate because I don't know if you know black holes, Marco, but they're called black holes because in this bit in the middle, light goes in and doesn't come out. So I don't know how the face would be visible. If the face is at that point in space, I don't know how to describe it in the physicist's vernacular, but
Easy, it's Hawking radiation.
okay, the Hawking radiation. Okay, it's Hawking radiation. He's spinning in his grave. Actually, it's not visible radiation. You wouldn't be able to interpret it as a face. Yeah, but what we're talking about is over billions and billions and billions of years, as this black hole has slowly begun to disintegrate due to this Hawking radiation, what you could see over the accumulation of trillions and trillions of imperceptible count of years in the universe, actually what you would be able to do is aggregate from the emittance of Hawking radiation an actual face of a blobfish that's kind of sad in an obscure way. And that's what we
whole
have
thing
here
sounds plausible to me.
in emoji form. So if somebody does take issue with this emoji on the various chat channels, what we will explain to them is this emoji isn't a snapshot of an immediate moment in time. This emoji is actually the aggregation of trillions of years of the heat death of the universe. And that's what you're seeing in the face. I'm going to need to start cutting and releasing these images soon. Oh, what am I doing? But we still don't have the end destination. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably call this for now. We'll work on this the next time I do a community.
Inaccurate.
Sorry, go ahead. Open forum on the chat channel if
That
you want
is
to say something.
seriously inaccurate.
Shut up. Dan outed as ChatGPT. The next stream we're gonna have to finish these. I'll do like
reconsider your life choices.
okay, I'm banning AI. AI is banned. Anybody who does AI from now on is banned from the server forever.
Again?
We're anti-AI here. We're pro-jobs. Hire a human to do your text chat. The next time we do a Q&A community stream, I will be finishing this emoji. You have my commitment to that. Hopefully I'll see you there. Hopefully this content is extremely compelling and you feel a need to subscribe to the channel and make sure you're actually going to be there when I make this emoji, when it actually happens. And you'll forever be able to say when you're posting that emoji to your great grandkids, you will say, look, I was there when they made this. When they adapted Marco's black hole emoji in a way that was accurate with Hawking radiation, in a plausible way, I was there. I was there when Ash added page down on his keyboard. And he finally got the help that he needed. Anything else? Any other topics people want to cover? Open forum. Anything.
How's your kid doing?
Yeah, he's fine actually. So he transitioned into a bed the night of the last stream. So an hour before I kicked that stream off, we had no idea if he was actually going to go to sleep or not. And he's in the next room. He's literally next to me right now. So he went from a cot where it's like boxed in, but he's getting to the point where he can basically climb out of that if he wants to. So we've now transitioned into a lower bed that doesn't have any of that stuff. And yeah, he's fine. He loves it. He seems to be sleeping fine. Luckily, he slept fine on that night as well. So yeah, he's doing all right. He's quite happy. He's a happy chappy, which is good because otherwise, streaming next door would be not particularly fun for any of us. So send your thanks and well wishes to Damien in the chat, please.
Sounds like we'll get more streams then.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he's always slept kind of okay. It's more my energy levels that's been bad because I just don't have the historically, me making time for a stream is usually the lowest priority in terms of if I've got like a certain amount of energy in a day to do things like features, pull requests, trying to get revenue as a lone solo open source maintainer and all the other things, it's kind of like low in the priority list, so I would usually be trying to do other things and panicking, whereas now I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So yeah, I mean, my energy levels right now are great. We've done some public code, pull requests, all that kind of stuff, and I'm happy to do a stream as well because I've got the energy.
I mean, you have to merge my typo PR.
Which one?
I opened a new PR for a typo.
Why would you do that? I don't have the energy for that. Why didn't my linting tool pick that up? Because that's a public public function. Surely that should have been picked up by a linting. I'm going to show. You know what? I'm going to carry the stream on for a minute. Look at this. Look at this, internet. Look at this, people. The comment doesn't match the function, and yet the linting passed. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's kind of disturbing. I'm not sure what happened.
Oh no. Does that mean the linting tools don't work? I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. You know what? I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. It's too. I don't have time to read all the diff. Paolo says, any plans for RGB lights on the background next stream? Well, I really just got annoyed with them. So I had lights up here and lights up here, if you remember on the old streams, and they're just a hassle because they get in the way. Like this wall, like my office is quite a small room, so I'm constantly like walking to and fro here, and I would constantly like get caught on the RGB lights. I can add them back in. They might be interesting. I don't know, like I find lighting in this room really difficult because I think if there was more space between me and the background, then having cool like items out here, it would all be blurred, and it would look really cool, really nice as like a backdrop. But I think because it's so close, it's almost in focus all the time, and the light is really powerful. So it kind of looks bad. I don't know. When I tried it, it just looked wrong.
Why don't you get a neon sign or something?
A neon, I think it would look too much. It would look too much, too busy. I'd love a neon sign. I've always wanted a neon sign in my office, but I think it's just too much. But yeah, I think what I need is just a bigger room, and then
You don't have to set them full power, the LEDs, you know.
Sorry.
You don't have to set the LEDs to full power, which means that you can
I
have
know, but I mean, even then, even if it's like low power, because no, I just think it's too busy. It's too much. There's too much going on. I'll try it. I'll try it in the next one because I've still got the lights. I can still just set them up. I'll try it. We'll see how it goes. If that video happens to get more likes, then I'll try anything. I'll do anything for those likes.
anything.
I'll do anything. Except whatever you're about to suggest.
Well, I'm not going to suggest it over here, but I will send you a private message. I can't wait to find out.
Okay, everyone, like and subscribe right now, or I'll come and get you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being here. We've had a great turnout. And I really just feel like we've made a lot of progress today. I really feel like this has been the stream where we've really figured out exactly what I am. I am a emoji behemoth in the industry. And I think I'm really just going to stick in this lane now and see where I can end up. Maybe I could be in the big leagues one day, and this stream will be all about my journey from indie emoji creator to really getting out there into the championships. Maybe I'll just start with the UK championships to begin with. But once I've got those keybinds for page up, page down, and I understand a little bit more about Inkscape and how it works, I really feel like there's no friction after that point. So thank you for being here on this journey with me. Thank you for helping me find my purpose in life. And join me on the next one as well. It's going to be about the same quality.